So today I'm once again trying to win big without attacking, doing nearly 100 damage with just the ETB triggers, then potentially giving everything haste. Hey everyone, Hex here, and today I'm reinvigorating an older deck with some newer cards that is totally busted when it pops off. Firstly though, don't forget to like and subscribe below to not miss out on future janky off-meta brews. But onto this deck, and we are going to be using Lich Knights Conquest with some massive chunky creatures from Thunder Junction for some serious ETB damage. Lich Knight Conquest, for those that haven't seen it before, is a 5-mana sorcery that says you may sack any number of artifacts, tokens or enchantments, then bring that many creatures from your graveyard to the battlefield. The potential for some massive combos is enormous here, but today ours revolves around Terror of the Peaks, Railway Brawler and Vaultborn Tyrant. Any combination of these is backbreaking for your opponents and usually means you win, but the main threats come from Terror's triggers. When another creature ETB is on your side of the board, you get to do damage equal to its power to any target. So individually they are crazy, but in multiples it's hard to even do the math sometimes to know how much damage you are going to be doing. Pair these with Brawlers that double your creature's power and toughness when another creature enters the battlefield, or Vaultborn Tyrants that says whenever it or another creature with power 4 or greater ETB, you gain 3 life and draw a card. Then you have one mega board and hopefully one mega win. The rest of the deck helps with the discarding, the token creation, or controlling the board. We've got Carnosaurs that can be some early removal, then some late game reanimation targets. Harvesters that make tokens to sacrifice or discard our creatures with, and some Scoundrels that literally do everything that we could want in our deck, including blocking those mono red attackers. I've got big scores to draw, discard and make treasure with, some reunions to give everything haste in case the ETB triggers don't just win you the game, some interaction in cut downs, go for the throats and Path of Perils, and I have 24 lands, and that is today's deck. So this is a good old fashioned reanimation deck with a twist that you don't always need to attack to win. You can play Yargle if you want to for a more janky combo, if you want to win with the Terror straight up. More token makers with some Lord Skitters or Preachers, Virtues or Rakdos joins up for other ways to reanimate, or some Smuggler Surprises to help cheat creatures straight from your hand onto the battlefield. Literally, it's very hard to even find just 60 cards to put in a deck these days, but here is my brew. As always though, like and subscribe if you can. Let me know what you think of this deck in the comments below, and I'll speak to you again in the next video. Alright then, on the draw, and our hand is fairly good. I can't complain too much. Couple of Surveil lands, not too bad. There's a Brawler, okay, I do like that card. Terror of the Peaks to Surveil into the graveyard, okay. Don't want to get my hopes up, but this is a pretty sweet start for us here. Opponent looks like they are on a Gruul build. Alright, well, let's just surveil a game with the District. Okay, another Terror of the Peaks. Okay. This is going well, We're going to need to make 2 tokens somehow with the Scoundrel and potentially another card. So with the Scoundrel, you can make a token through its treasure or through an aura. Problem with an aura is once the Scoundrel is off the battlefield, the aura goes. So I do like to make the treasure. Could have also discarded one of our green creatures there to potentially bring back even more when we Lich Knights Conquest. But I think this is the best play here. And I'm going to want to plot the Brawler. And I'm not going to attack just yet. I'm not sure what they've got, but 1 damage isn't going to do anything. There are potentially other... there's so many cards in Standard. I think I counted about 3,500. You do want to make as many tokens as possible so we find big score. I mean, this is the perfect game for us so far. Let's plot this thing so that we can drop this when we want to. I was thinking of Preacher or Lord Skitter. It makes tokens for the Lich Knights, but I just wanted to keep creatures away from what I was doing. And I think I found just the right sort of balance here. But yeah, there's just so many cards you can play in these type of decks. Opponent is in the tank about something. They're on Gruul, it looks like so far, unless they're missing another colour. Similar deck to ours, but we're more of a Rakdos splashing green kind of deck. Only got the green in there for the with the Brawler and the Tyrant. Trumpeting Carnosaur. Okay, I mean, there is potential that they're playing a very similar deck to us. Carnosaur is a fantastic addition to this. And yeah, we'll just... So we could play the Brawler and then bring back a Terror there with the Conquest, but we're under zero pressure, so I'm just going to wait and wait and wait. Just try and do this all in one turn. Opponent with a big score. Maybe they are on a similar deck to us. Definitely some kind of ramp deck. So want to close the game out next turn if possible. So we will big score here. Okay. Opponent was thinking about something. Big score, and we'll get rid of this Tyrant. So that's 3 creatures in our graveyard. A Brawler to play. I mean, this has got to be lethal, isn't it? Even if they have 1 removal spell for the Brawler, everything else is just going to be a massive swing. Fortunately, no haste here. Another Tyrant. I mean, do we go cheeky and bring back... We could big score again for another Tyrant. I think we're just going to have to go for this now. This is more than enough, I think, for us to win. So we'll Conquest here. We'll get rid of the 3 treasures. We definitely could have big scored again for the other Tyrant, but that's going to be overkill here. And we'll bring back the 2 Terrors and the Tyrants. And don't forget, they're all going to get double the power, and I'm pretty sure this is lethal anyway. Yeah, a 12-12, 2 10-10s. And the triggers of the Terror are going to make this a massive, massive smack in the face here for your opponent. And yeah, still had 22 damage on the stack there, or 10 more damage, sorry. Alright then, on the draw, and hand seems fine. We have ways to discard this Tyrant and then the Lich Knights Conquest to bring it straight back to the battlefield. So not bad, not bad. We'll see how this one goes. Opponent with a Mountain though, and it is Kamano, okay. Not the card I want to see, but in testing, haven't done too bad against Gruul or mono red decks. So we will see how this one goes. We just got to make sure that we don't die before we get a chance to drop this Conquest. See what they want to go with. Okay, it's a Swift Spear, sure. Comes down with a +1 counter on it, and what else have they got? You know they've always got something else. It's Monstrous Rage, alright. So we're going to go down to, what, 13 life, it looks like. Classic turn 2 there. Haven't even been able to play a card yet, so... We can go for the Throat this turn on the Swift Spear, or play this Scoundrel. Fortunately, the Swift Spear has a Trample, so I don't think the Scoundrel is the best port of call here. I do want to keep adding to the board, though. It's important that we get treasure, we get this Tyrant down, it's going to gain us back some life. I think go for the Throat here is our best option. But we could well die before they get a chance to... Before we get a chance to offload our threats. So it's a Code Breaker. Okay, so this is a big swing from our opponent here. Felonious Rage, sorry, on the Swift Spear, sure. It's an instant. Yeah, they might have wanted to attack first. See what I did. We go down to 8 anyway. So not looking too great, although... We have a blocker, we have the Bitter Reunion, and then we have the Conquest. So it's not the end of the world. I think we have to play the tap land here just to ensure that we get a land onto the battlefield, and we can hopefully get the 5th land for the Lich Knights Conquest. I think Scoundrel here is probably our best bet. We can block the Code Breaker, and if we get a treasure here, we can use the cut down in an emergency situation. So we can't Lich Knights next turn because we would need to use the treasure. But I think this gives us the best way of winning the game. Imodane's Recruiter, okay. I did not expect to see that card in a mono red deck. Alright, looks like we're going to be using our cut down. So we're going to be using the Scoundrel here to block the Code Breaker, cut down on the Etchin or the Recruiter. Sure. We'll let them go to attacks first. So I'm pretty glad we played the Scoundrel and made the treasure, but... We're definitely hanging in there. Guess we could get rid of the Etchin here, as it means that our Scoundrel doesn't just exile. But I don't think it matters too much. Alright, big score is interesting. I think we have to do it now. Let's just see what we find. It's a Harvester. Unfortunately, it's a tap land as well. That would have been amazing if it was untapped. So we could risk it. I think it's too much of a risk. I would love to not play this Harvester. But let's drop the Harvester anyway. This blocks. It also gives us a blood. So if we draw an untapped mana next turn, we can use the Lich Knights. Okay, it's a red herring, sure. Alright, we're going to block the red herring, definitely, as They might be inclined to want to sack it, yeah. Keep our Harvester alive. They want to draw a card. We go down to 3, but 3 is not dead. They find a mountain. Another Tyrant. Okay, I mean, it's going to be pretty nice next turn if we can do something here. Harvester could kill the Etchin. I think I want a Bitter Reunion, though. We're definitely not going to be hard casting these Tyrants, so drop that to the grave. Another Bitter Reunion. Okay, I mean, this is the game, isn't it? Next turn, we're going to Lich Knights for 2. Bring back the 2 Tyrants, gain a whole ton of life. And we just got to hope that they don't find a way to kill us. I think literally Lightning Strike is the only card that can do us right now. I can't think of anything else. Maybe another Recruiter. That would work. Brawler. Interesting. Alright. I mean, the time is now to drop this Lich Knights Conquest. We can do it for... I guess if we play a land, we can give them haste as well. Because we're going to get rid of one of the Bitter Reunions and the Blood Token. And yeah, this is pretty sweet, actually. Just double check there. Yeah, 2 Tyrants. And we have a Harvester as well, but I want to give my creatures haste. And this is going to be a lot of life for us to gain here. I think it's going to be at least 6 life. 12 life, isn't it? We're going to go up to 15. There we go. Totally undoes all the work for the mono-red deck. We'll give everything haste. We'll get in there and opponent scoops it up. Nice. Alright then. On the draw. Wow, this hand. Alright, I'm keeping this. Keep this for science maybe, but what a hand if we can get to 5 mana. Opponent with the plains. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to turn this down with 3 Terror of the Peaks. We'll Bitter Reunion now. They didn't counter. Okay. Well, that's good. And I don't really want to discard these Terrors because I think all we can do is just play them. And if they get countered, fair enough. If they get exiled, that's a problem. But let's get rid of the cut down. I don't think we're going to be using that. It looks like the opponent is on an Azorius deck. Unless it's soldiers or like an artifact themed deck. Should be alright. Okay, Field of Ruin on my land, not a problem. We have 3 basics in our deck, so we'll grab that forest because we have the swamp in our hand, so hopefully no more Field of Ruins. Harvester. Alright, well, let's go for the Scoundrel here. I think just ramping away is quite nice. We'll just get a treasure here, drop our tap land, say go. Oh, I guess we can attack. There we go. Opponent down to a 19. I'm really not sure how this is going to go. I'm worried about Sunfall. Okay, main phase Deluge. What does that imply? So there's an argument that we could be playing some kind of Duresses or the Bats in this deck to just keep on top of what the opponent's got in their hand. But I've played a lot of versions of this deck and I just couldn't find the exact formula. Apart from this one, it's doing pretty well. I really wanted to try and include the Smugglers or Smuggler's Surprise as well into the deck, but didn't feel I needed it in the end. I do like Terror of the Peaks. Played Lich Knights before, but Terror of the Peaks makes it so that you don't even have to attack necessarily to win the game, just once they all hit the battlefield, which is pretty nice. Not sure what the opponent is specifically up to, just control. So a couple of cards that totally wreck us. Farewell, obviously, wrecks a lot of strategies, but hitting our graveyard especially is pretty annoying. And the other card is Temporary Lockdown. Kind of ruins our strategy a little bit. I'd say more than a little bit because it just wipes our artifacts out. Opponent is giving us more artifact fodder there with Get Lost. Okay, that suggests they might not be playing Sunfall here, or they might not have a Sunfall if they're just killing our creatures. I think this is just going to be a slow game here. Kind of want the opponent to tap out slightly. Guess we can play one of these Terrors. I don't want to necessarily... We'll just drop it now, I think. I think I don't want to necessarily show too much of my hand. No effects. I was wondering if they had like a Get Lost or something. I'm expecting a board wipe. I'm expecting a Sunfall, to be completely honest. But it's a lot of damage. In fact, it could be a lethal attack next turn. Okay, no witnesses. Yeah, both Terrors onto the battlefield next turn would have been pretty sure a lethal if I could attack with everything. But No Witnesses destroys the board, but only to the graveyard, and I don't care about that. Well, there's our Lich Knights Conquest. Okay. We'll play the Terror here. Opponent does have 2 mana, and we'll play the other one. Now, if they played No Witnesses, I presume they might not have a Sunfall. Kind of want them to spend their whole turn using a board wipe next turn. Then we can Lich Knights everything back. Get lost, okay. Shame we didn't have more mana. Yeah, more mana, and we could have just played the Lich Knight there. And a Brawler, okay. Well, that changes things even more. We can plot the Brawler. And we'll get in there with the Terror. This means our creatures are going to come out with a much bigger power. Maybe overkill, but we'll see how this goes. We just need the opponent to tap out. That's pretty much it. Tap out. We can use the tokens from the Sokenzan if we absolutely needed to return some stuff to the battlefield. Knockout Blow deals with my Terror. Just goes to the graveyard though, so come on opponent. Do something weird. Tap out. Tap out. Let me get my Lich Knights down. Union. Okay. 4 mana open for the opponent here. And it's Deluge. Wow, they did tap out. This is going to be a massive turn for us next turn. This is the dream here. We get to drop our Brawler. Brawler for free. Play our Lich Knights here, and this is going to bring back, what, 6 creatures? They're all going to have double the power. 3 Terror of the Peaks is going to smash our opponent to pieces before we even get a chance to activate our Bitter Reunion here. And this is what I imagined when I was putting this deck together. I do love Terror of the Peaks. There's no way I know how much damage is gonna hit the opponent now. I will work it out and I will pop it on the screen if I possibly can. Let me know if I'm correct in that one. But just these triggers alone are going to kill the opponent before we even get a chance to attack. I guess we have to go through the Scoundrel triggers, Harvester triggers, and then here come the massive... There we go. I mean, they die off the first 2 triggers. Alright then, on the play. Okay hand. Nothing crazy in our hand to discard, but hopefully we can get there. Deck is doing it pretty nice. I'm really enjoying playing this. Played the Lich Knights before, but I just think the Terror is the card you want to be bringing back. And I mean, some of these green cards, or the green creatures from this newest set, they're just ludicrous. The Brawler is just, I think the card is absolutely busted. We'll play the Harvester here. A couple of reunions, not necessarily what we want, but if opponent looks like they could be on a mono-red build, or a red deck, mono-red it looks like, we just want to make sure we are saving as much damage as possible. Ronin, sure. We'll block. The Harvester would be destroying one of these anyway, so this works for us. We go down to 16. I'm glad we played a creature there, though. That would have been a big swing if we didn't. Play the Reunion and get rid of the Tyrant here. Terror of the Peaks. Okay, well this might be one of those times where we actually just cast the card. We have the mana available. So shields down for this turn. What have they got? It is Godric. Sure, and it is a pretty sad Godric as it attacks us for 3, and we are going to certainly go for the throw that. But going to want to play the Terror next turn. Now, Terror only has the 4 toughness, so they have plenty of ways to deal with that, but we need it to soak up some damage. So let's go for Scoundrel, because this is a decent kind of blocker anyway. I'm going to put a Wicked Roll on it, so it becomes a 2-2, and it can block this Reinforced Ronin, and then we can go for the throw the Godric. I think this is the best way, otherwise that Ronin is just going to destroy us turn after turn. I'm really liking playing against mono red with this deck. We are at the point though where we are going to run out of things to do, which is why it's important we get this Terror down on turn 5. Alright, let's be cheeky here. They didn't attack with the Ronin. I'm going to let them see if they pump. They do. They're going to spend all their mana pumping, and we're just going to go for the throw. A little bit dangerous there, but I do like to play a little bit dangerous when I'm playing Best of one against mono red. I think you have to take a few risks. Tap land. Okay, well, I don't think so. We're just going to have to play the Terror, and we're certainly on defensive modes right now. With the Bitter Reunion, next turn, maybe discarding the Ziatora. We have a blood token if we want to, and we can just cycle our land, so don't really mind where we are, and to be honest, we're still on 12 life. Okay, Godric returns as a 4/4. What else? Oh, they must play the other Ronin. Yeah, Godric's going to be a 5/5 now in the air. Okay, we're going to block. I mean, I don't want to, but I think Terror of the Peaks is a perfect blocker there for the Godric. Save some life. We just find another Bitter Reunion anyway, so I'm glad we blocked. Make sure that thing's not on the board. Get rid of Ziatora here, and we draw Go for the Throat and another Ziatora. Okay. Well, I'm going to want the land this time, so that eventually we can Lich Knights and attack all on the same turn. We have Go for the Throat available if they want to go crazy. Can't kill this Ronin though, and that's going to be the Scoundrel's job. But now we have an Etchin to deal with. So we're under a lot of pressure here, but we're starting to get to the point where we might be able to start hard casting our big boys when we draw them, although we only have the 1 green mana, it looks like. Okay, and they just attack us. Alright, well, I think I'm just going to take the 2 this time. They did cycle their Ronin, which was interesting, and there's Auger, or O'Hare. I'm going to just go for the throat that. Just keep the tempo. That might return to the battlefield, but for now, it's not what I need. Big score. Big score is better than Bitter Reunion. So we will big score, and we'll just do it now. See what we draw. Charming Scoundrel. Well, we'll play that. So we're getting there. Discard our land, and we find a Harvester. And I guess we just play this. It is another blocker. It's also a removal for one of their creatures. So this is a funny old game. We're just not able to do much, and the opponent's not really able to do much. We've been playing a very controlling game. Okay, we can attack with a 2/2 here. Start whittling their life total down. We're still on 10 life though. Yeah, we've got a couple of cards in there. We just need to find our Conquest. That's always the problem with these kind of Reanimator combo decks. You could put more Reanimate spells in this if you want to. Absolutely. Gatekeeper, I guess they're just going to eat my creatures, which is going to be annoying. No. They do not. They exile big score. Okay. Sure. And Ronin is channeled, not played. Okay, they might have wanted to just play that and attack, I guess, because I probably wouldn't have blocked. Getting in there with their Etchin. We could just chump. I just want to preserve my life total as much as possible, but I think we'll just let that go. We go down to 8. And we can Harvester next turn the Gatekeeper. Flame Breather's annoying. Go for the Throat is not annoying, but it just means that we aren't doing our thing this turn. So Harvester, I'm definitely going to want to get rid of probably the Gatekeeper. 2/1 first strike is annoying. We can go for the Throat if we need to, but I really don't want to spend that on our opponent's creatures because they're so small. So you can see that they're trying to do O'Hare with Kessig Flame Breather. Very cute, and it works really well if that O'Hare's on the battlefield. So we'll save the Go for the Throat in case they gain another one of them. Furnace Ruins, though, is going to steal our Scoundrel. Alright, this is a decision here. I don't think we can take the amount of damage that they're going to do to us. They'll be doing at least 3 to us and we'll lose our Scoundrel. Well, we're going to be losing our Scoundrel anyway. We're going to have to kill our own creature, I think. Also, don't really want them to get a treasure. And I certainly don't want them to do 4 damage to us so that this O'Hare returns to the battlefield. So, we're on chump mode. Alright, our shields are down. We go down to 6. Charming Scoundrel. Okay, we'd love to be able to draw and discard, but we don't have a card to discard. Let's blood it away. We can surely do better than that. There we go. That's what I want to see. Lich Knights Conquest, you know, play to your outs, play to your outs. I trusted the deck. We can bring back the Tyrant. We can bring back Terror. That's all I need, really, just to gain some life. Let's go for 3, though. We'll go for the Terror, the Tyrant, and the Harvester. And we can take care of their team as well. Doesn't really matter what way we do this. But most importantly, we get to gain 6 life, go back up to 12, and yeah, there's no way the opponent gets back from this, is there? They would need another Furnace Ruins. Yeah, they like that one. Okay, and I think we have lethal here. We can just attack with everyone, and then we can drop the Harvester. Fortunately, didn't have the second green for the Tyrant, but this is enough. So yeah, trust your deck, you'll get there. Most of the time, some of the time, who knows, but it's kind of fun to do that. Alright then, on the play. You know, I don't particularly like this hand. It's way too much interaction. Not enough adding to the board. You definitely want to be adding to the board with this deck. But I'm going to keep it anyway. Basically, we have some land, we have some spells. So it looks like we're going to not necessarily have mana problems. But we're going to want to hit some Bitter Reunions or some Scoundrels along the way. Opponent with a Prairie, so we find another go for the throat, okay. So we are literally a removal deck, it looks like, but that's not our plan. This is just really to deal with threats as and when they hit the battlefield. Just like a Botanical Brawler. Question is, do we wait and peril it? I think we just kill it now whilst we get a chance. And we draw a Ziatora. Okay, well, we'll play that, hold open, go for the throat. Against Selesnya, it looks like. Iron Apprentice, it's something we can't go for the throat, but we can peril those. Okay, and Harvester's nice. It's the kind of card that adds to the board that I was looking for. So we'll play this. I don't really care about these Apprentices right now. But we get a blood token, and that's important. Crucible. Right, okay. So we're not going to be able to kill that either, because we can only play spells on our turn now. Leave one of these Apprentices, though. Would love another Bloodtithe Harvester off the top. I think that would be nice. Don't really want a Path of Peril board right now. Well, maybe I do. It's an Apprentice. We'll see what happens. Another land, okay. Alright. So not the best start for us here. We can go for the throat, the Crucible, and peril if we wanted to. We would lose our creature. But then would be pretty much shields down. I'm just going to wait. Don't really care about these Apprentices at this particular moment. I'm not really sure what we're up against. Okay, they plot a Brawler. Right, please draw a creature right now. That would be great, or some way to discard. Okay, another Harvester, sure. So we've got Lich Knight fodder here with the 2 blood tokens, but we've just got nothing in our graveyard, and we don't even have the Conquest. Brawler, when it hits the battlefield, is going to be annoying. We can go for the throat that, though. We can't go for the throat, the Simian Simulacrum. Right, so there's a very outside possibility that what we're going to need to do in this particular game is, especially if they play this Brawler and a couple of more big creatures, is find a big score to gain the treasure so that we can use Path of Peril. We're not playing white in the deck, but Path of Peril does have treasure that it can be used. But I'm going to have to just cycle here this Sokenzan. I really need some juice. Okay, well, I mean, there is a big score, okay. And a cut down. Still no creatures. Need to save the go for the throat for the Brawler. If they play their Crucible first, that would be really annoying. I guess that card is actually quite good at the moment with the plot cards, if you can play that first. Yeah, that's a sweet little kind of synergy there. It means you can unplot your cards kind of freely. Hard-hitting question here. Okay. I mean, this is a brew that they're on. And Railway Brawler hits the battlefield. And there's Crucible. Okay, well, we're going to have to deal with the Brawler now. I guess we didn't have to, but I'm going to. Maybe we could have big scored there instead. Got some treasure and just Path next turn and held our go for the throat. But we're not really making any inroads here as we find a Sulphurous Springs. Okay. Okay, so we're not dead on board. We have cut down available, but we have to do this all on our turn. So let's big score. Let's see what we draw. Guess we will have to ditch the land here. Find a Harvester and a tap land. Yeah, this game is not going very well for us. We just haven't drawn our combo pieces. Maybe that is a big downside to this deck. If you don't draw your combo pieces or any of the creatures, we're literally just straddling water, and we have been for most of the game. Although I still don't think we're completely out of this. There's another big score on top. I mean, big score helps us dig. Path of Peril here would clear 3 or 2 of the creatures, but it would make a massive, probably a Crucible there. So I think what we'll do is we'll Harvester here. That keeps us 1 treasure open next turn for Path of Peril. We'll block with the Harvester as and when we can. And then we'll just hope we find some gas. I kind of want them to play all their cards. Gruff triplets, okay. Don't mind seeing that, actually. Crucible is going to draw them a card here through at least one of these apprentices. I think we'll block the 4/4 because we're going to be blowing up the board. So they're 3/3 doing a lot of work here as they get to draw a card. But yeah, we're going to blow up the board here so we find a big score. Oh, we knew that was there. Okay. We do have a cut down available, but at least right now it is on as even on the battlefield. We do have 2 blood tokens, so yeah. Maybe the tables have turned a little bit for us here. Hopefully they don't have too much going on. Or a creature that we can cut down. Okay, warrior, sure. Okay, another triplets. Alright, I mean, that's the worst card possible for us here. Okay, we find our Conquest. Sure, I mean, there's just no decent creatures in our graveyard. If we had terrors in there, yeah, I mean, this is where we could win the game if we had decent creatures in the graveyard. But I think just trying to find a way of just stabilizing or surviving, we're going to have to bring back some of these Harvesters because they're the only creatures in there. I just don't know how we win this game. We'll bring back 2 of the Harvesters here. Guess this creates some more treasure. And yeah, even if we get one of our big tyrants, we just don't have the land now to cast it. Botanical Brawler, okay. Comes down as a 2/2. So we can cut that down. Okay, and they're getting in there with their land. So everything's going to be, what, a 4/4 except the land. And yeah, they have trample as well, so I'm pretty sure we're dead. We'll just take the damage. Yeah, they have trample, so yeah, not a good game for us there, but I quite like their deck. But yeah, just never got going there. Alright then, on the play. Yeah, we'll keep this one, see how it goes. Play our Ziatora's Proving Ground here. And we will just drop our lands, drop our Scoundrel, make a treasure, and attack, because we're going to want to play this Terror on curve. Well, ahead of curve here. We can potentially play it on turn 4. Opponent looks like they are on a Mire build here, so yeah, we'll just play our tap land. Was wondering whether to just play another land and cycle this, but I want the double green. Free Strider Lookout, okay. They commit crime, they get to look at the top of their library. But we're going to destroy that, and we're just going to keep plugging along, dropping our creatures when we draw them. And if they kill these, so be it. We'll just hopefully potentially bring them back from the graveyard later. Now, every creature we draw from here on in is potentially a burn spell with Terror on the battlefield, but surely they have a way to kill this. Siphon Insight, okay. Maybe not. Maybe we're going to get slightly away with this. There is a Tyrant. Right, we are slowly getting there. and certainly attack our opponent here for 6. Tyrant in 2 turns right now. So it's certainly not a Lich Knights Conquest game so far. They are on 4 colours here. I have absolutely no idea what they're up to. Virtue of Persistence on Altera. Okay, double Virtue maybe. Nope, it's Desert's Dew. Well, let's cycle. Okay, well, we find a Harvester. I'm fine with the Terror Bean in our graveyard still. Path of Peril, nope. We'll play Harvester. And yeah, I mean, we just need another land here for the Tyrant. And we should be golden. Just got no idea what the opponent is up to. Malicious Eclipse to destroy our board. Fair enough. Could cut down our creature here, but I think what we'll do is just use the blood token here to get rid of cut down. I'm just looking for a land for the Tyrant here. Untap land, please. There it is with a Glade. Okay. And we will just drop our Tyrant here. Alright, gain 3 life, draw a card. This is a 6/6. And when this dies, we will get a copy of it as a token. So, pretty happy with where we are right now. Outcaster Greenblade, okay. To search for a basic land or desert. So I'm not really sure what kind of deck they are. I would like to play the game out a bit more to see what they're trying to do. There's definitely desert synergies. If anyone knows the list, I would love to see it. Because I haven't really played it with deserts in this particular set. And we draw a Carnosaur. Okay, well, we'll play our forest. What is this? It's a green blade. We'll play our forest. I don't know what strategies they have. Let's just drop the Carnosaur first before we use the go for the throat on the green blade. We might find something fun. Ah, it's a cut down. Okay, fair enough. And we'll attack opponent. And you know what? They're on 6 life. I didn't even realise they were so low.